If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today.
I actually never heard a left-wing person ever really have a comeback to that. Usually they just say that I'm racist or give some stupid answer, but you actually made me think, actually, so.
What's up?
Hello. Joe, what's up? Wait,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I guess I should start off. So I say I'm like a national conservative / national populist. And basically,
I'm
I want
sorry to interrupt
end.
you, but you sound a little muffled. Are you like picking up your phone at the same time that you're talking?
Wait, can you hear me?
That
Can you
sounds
hear me
great.
now better?
That sounds
Great.
great.
Okay, so I would say I'm like a national conservative / national populist, and I want an immigration moratorium. Like, I'm from Canada, and I think that there's been so many problems with multiculturalism, with mass immigration, and I just want to end all immigration. Honestly, that's what I want.
So you support legal immigration?
No, all immigration. I want to end all immigration.
Oh, sorry. I was reading about it to make sure I was clear, and I obviously was not. So you want to completely like shut immigration out, completely like isolate for a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so are you pro-capitalist?
Yes, I am a capitalist. I'm quite.
Okay, so you have two. No. So you have two conflicting positions already. You literally
those are not
you cannot
conflicting.
have a country that is based on markets without a flow of people and consumers as well. This is why immigration always benefits the economy when we're talking about people immigrating into capitalist countries. This is why even illegal immigrants in, say, America, I do know more about America than Canada, I'll grant it, but at least in America, illegal immigrants pay far more into social services than they take out. I know that illegals and legal immigrants pay a lot in taxes as well, property taxes, sales taxes. So why would you want to, I guess, stop those benefits? So for example, like, let me give you a clear-cut example. If all illegal immigrants were deported tomorrow, at least in America, again, I don't really know too much about Canada, but in America, if they were all deported tomorrow, then we would lose $13 billion in Social Security. And like, I have grandparents on Social Security. Like, I want them to be okay as well. So like, you're basically talking about removing these potential benefits, or in this case, these proven benefits. What is your reason why then?
Sure. So, first of all, I think that mass immigration is just a threat to the national identity of Canada. But second of all, I actually want to talk about this. You're
cutting out again. You're cutting out again. I heard something about national identity.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with someone becoming a citizen and becoming part of that country? That's a national identity, right?
Yeah, but I think that the country should have the national identity should be based on a shared culture, and multiculturalism is a big threat to that. And second of all, I want to get into this. Like, for instance, I'm actually ethnically Jewish.
Okay.
And I've actually had to deal with a lot of problems with these like Arabs from Muslims, Arabs.
Okay,
from these
I'm not
Middle
too.
Eastern
I don't really
countries.
care about that too much. The thing is that you want to.
Well, they're not being assimilated, and they're going around, they're saying like all this crazy stuff, pro-Palestine extremism, supporting Hamas.
To be honest, you're saying some kind of crazy stuff too. You're talking about stopping. You want to stop immigration completely. You want there to be a national identity based on culture. How are you deriving that this is culture?
Yeah.
How are you? Wait, do you think that you're maybe mixing race and culture here?
No, I'm not doing that. I am. So I'll explain my views. I am a race realist, but I am a cultural nationalist, not a racial nationalist, which basically means that I don't want the nation to be.
You're muffling again. You got to put your phone down, bro.
I'm on the computer. Okay, so tell me when you can hear me. So
I can hear you fine.
Basically. So yeah, I am a race realist, but I support cultural nationalism, not racial nationalism. So I don't favor any sort of like racial like I don't want this Canada to be represented as like a white ethnic state. I just want to get rid of multiculturalism because
So then
I
why
think a
can't an
multi
immigrant so then my next follow-up question is going to be, why can't an immigrant then assimilate into that culture? You're right that sometimes they don't. That's fair. That's a fair concern, maybe something to talk about. But
yep.
generally speaking, well, hold on. Generally speaking, immigrants assimilate to the majority. This has been studied and proven time and time again. Most of the time, most immigrants will assimilate to the culture, to the majority. That is what happens.
So I live in British Columbia.
I don't care about your experience right now. I can't refute your experience, and I'm not denying that there are some people that do not.
So they don't.
No, wait, listen. I'm not denying that there are some people that don't assimilate, but generally, on average, the majority-wise, yes, immigrants are more likely to assimilate with the majority than they are to, I guess, resist it.
Well, you have areas in Canada that look like parallel societies, like multicultural. Like it's
I thought
horrible.
you said it wasn't on
does
race.
not. I never said it was on.
What do you mean
race.
they look different because they're wearing like a hijab?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want like I'm opposed to Islam. So
okay, so see, you're anti-freedom. Then it sounds like to me that you're anti-people dressing a certain way for the sake of their religion.
I'm not. I know. I just don't want more Islamic immigration because I don't want there to be an Islamic takeover of Canada. Look at all these pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas people. Do you want those types of people running Canada?
No, but I don't think that people immigrating here are going to just decide one day to do that. That seems delusional to me.
Well, a lot of them
are they doing anything wrong, or is literally their existence just bothering you? It's not, you're saying you look around and they look different. Who cares if somebody's wearing a hijab? Didn't you say you're Jewish? Don't Jews wear something on their head? What do you mean? People wear different things.
I'm not religious. I'm not religious. Okay.
I'm not saying you personally necessarily. I'm saying that there seems to be hypocrisy here.
There's not an hypocrisy, okay? And Islam is way more dangerous. Look, there's like 15 million Jews.
I'm talking about whether or not wearing something as a religious expression should be allowed or not. And it seems that you think it shouldn't be allowed if it's Muslims doing it.
Do you want me to say fine? There's 2 billion Jews, and they start making no-go zones in Canada and parallel societies, and they start rioting. We have Eritrean riots in Canada, okay? We have violence, we have division. We have a lot of problems because of this. So if that happens with Jews, then fine. I'll start. You can make that comparison. But until that happens, it's not going to happen. Okay, you can just say that there's not. We're having a big problem with Islam immigration from the third world, and we could stop it all right now. But these left-wing multiculturalists want to import all these people from these third world countries.
All right, you need to stop rambling right now. Okay, stop for a second. I need to look. I'm trying to find something out for you. Separation.
Okay. And it's important to note too that.
Okay, so what it is it's actually just a different term. It's just a different term. Is that immigrants are integrating into Canada, not assimilating. Assimilating means to completely reject their own culture. Instead, integration involves contact and identification with both cultures. Separation involves identification with only the culture of one's heritage country and contacts with one's own group members. Assimilation involves identification with the host country's culture and non-acceptance of one's heritage culture. So I will agree with you that if there is an element of culture that is something bad, like you should kill people that don't believe things that you believe or something, then of course that's a problem. And that would be a belief that you would need, that should be done away with. In that regard, you should assimilate. But I think in many ways, there's also integration and having that mixture, having multiculturalism even. I fail to see how any of this is bad if this integration is taking place. Again, not a rejection of your culture, but rather integrating.
Here's another, and I think that we have to clean this up, and I'm not sure.
Well, wait. Can you answer my question first, though? Because I want to know, because
sure, what was your question?
Has a lot of...
Go ahead.
My point is just that multiculturalism has a lot of benefits, both for the economy and if you also want to have a conversation about creativity, diversity can also oftentimes spur creativity as well and innovation as well. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's actually true, and it's been demonstrated repeatedly. So there are a lot of benefits from multiculturalism. Where are the negatives? I will agree with you. I have already conceded that if they do not integrate or assimilate in some regards, that's a problem. But for the sake of argument, let's say they do. Why is that a problem now?
Sure. So I don't think they will assimilate, to be honest. Let's just say they do. I will admit that you have to actually. There is racial IQ differences that are genetic.
Oh,
That's just a fact.
okay.
And okay, so debunk this. So you know the 2 repeat allele of the MAOA gene? It is 50.
I thought you didn't care about
Let me look it
race.
up. Well, no. I meant like I don't want all the country.
You're muting out again.
Wait, let me see something. I don't want the country to be based on race. I'll say that. But you do have to admit these. What is?
I fail to see how these differences have literally anything to do with anything. IQ measures a certain kind of intelligence, and it is definitely valuable. I don't subscribe to the notion that IQ tests are just completely wrong and useless. I think that they can absolutely give us valuable insights and whatnot, but somebody having a lower IQ does not carry with it them having less value, less worth, or even diminish their abilities to contribute to the country in certain ways. Like, do you want to look at the average IQ rate of maybe like Republicans, conservatives, right-wingers compared to liberals? Do you want to look at that? Because I guarantee you that Republicans have lower IQ.
I know.
I guarantee you people who believe whatever you believe have very low IQ.
It's like 94 IQ. But anyways, I was going to look to this. You know the 2 repeat allele, the MAOA gene, it causes an increased risk of shooting and stabbing behaviors, and it's 55 times more likely to be found in blacks than white. So
where are you getting this stat from? Could I have a source, please? Source, bro?
Sure, I'll send it.
Please.
There. And I can send you stuff by Philip Rushton. I know you think he's a racist, but wait, can you hear me? And I know you probably think, he's racist. He's not. He actually was biased against race realism, and he still found out that blacks, on average, have a lower intelligence, and that's mostly genetic, and also that racial crime disparities are mostly genetic. So yeah, you can just read that study. I can send you. Wait, let's find this. Read this one too. There you go.
Well, hold on a second, because this sounds like. Is this a gene? Are you saying this gene is only found in African Americans?
No, I'm saying it's 55 times more likely to be found in African Americans, because 5.5% of blacks have it, and only 0.1% of whites have it. So 55 times more likely.
I'm definitely gonna have to look more into this. Grant, I have definitely not heard of this. I will look into this more.
What's really interesting is I actually was biased against this. I thought it was just cultural. So then I decided to go on r/Destiny, and they said they were going to debunk it. You had all these guys in r/Destiny basically saying, we have no debunk for this. No, I don't like Nick Fuentes. Someone in your chat said, I like Nick Fuentes. Of course I don't. He actually likes Hitler. Screw that guy.
So it's questionable whether admittedly, I'm still just reading this. So there are other studies, though, that have looked into this around the same time. Doesn't seem as though that gene directly increases violence, but it may increase the effect of child abuse on violence. Their findings suggest that low activity MAOA increases, quote, maltreatment-dependent risk for a range of conduct problems and not aggression or criminal violence specifically. Forest plot of 29 cells for interaction of MOAO, genotype, and early life. So the finding was accounted for principally by the interaction of MAOA and childhood maltreatment, and therefore where environmental risk most closely matched. Study the interaction with the childhood maltreatment also proved robust to sensitivity analysis and generalized across studies of either cross-sectional or longitudinal design and studies in which maltreatment exposure was assessed by family report only or included independent informant sources. It is noteworthy, too, that MAOA variation interacted with childhood maltreatment to predict outcomes reference to both childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, dependent measures of both continuous and categorical distribution of both violent and nonviolent antisocial behaviors. So it suggests that the low activity genotype heightens maltreatment dependent risk. So again, I would have to look into this more.
Okay.
But
There was one
this
thing
is
I
a,
also
oh wait,
wanted.
hold on, wait. I might not have to look into
Okay,
this more
go
because
ahead.
this might be,
And then there was one thing I also wanted, another thing I wanted to talk about, but you can wait and look up that.
yeah, I'm trying to see. Include over 27 peer-reviewed English language studies published through 2012 that contain indicators of maltreatment or other family and the MAOA genotype. Okay, this is exactly why I usually read this, but I will read the results. 20 studies of exclusively male samples. Low activity genotype heightened risk for antisocial behavior among individuals exposed to maltreatment specifically, but not in tests of other childhood adversities. So this could actually very well be a environmental problem after all. So it could just be that you have a genotype that makes it so that if you are abused or exposed to maltreatment or malnutrition, that could heighten your risk for violence. And so that ties right back to the same conversations I'm always having, right? About like the black community being disproportionately poor, etc.
Yeah, but that's because they have a lower IQ on average, right? You have to take that into
Wait. No, the
consideration.
IQ's going up. The IQ gap
Yeah,
is closing.
I know, but
So
it's still like 87 or 88.
wait,
It did go up. It's not 70.
you realize that nutrition and education, family stability, all of these things can influence IQ heavily, especially at the early ages, right? So if you have a group of people that are disproportionately living in poverty, then it's inevitable that they will have lower IQ. That's a symptom of the problem. That isn't the problem. That isn't the cause of the problem.
Well, look at this. You can pretty much map it out.
Well,
So
no,
June,
before we go down another fucking delusional rabbit hole, let's just be clear here. I need to look into this more because
I know.
I'm not going to be super like draw a hardcore conclusion, but based on what I'm reading here, this is a meta-analysis of 27 different studies, so it's definitely stronger than the one-off study you sent me. And they found that no, it's actually this genotype only heightened the risk for this kind of behavior if they were first exposed to malnutrition, maltreatment, etc. So in that case, it would be more of an environmental thing than anything else.
Okay, but anyways, can I just talk about one other thing or what?
Okay, yeah, I want it to be known because you said that
Okay, yeah.
there was no defeater to this, but like I'm reading a defeater right here. Like this sounds like a defeater to me. At least enough so to cast a lot of doubt on what you're saying because most of the time race realism is wrong.
Well, I'll look into what you're saying too, but I'm actually from the research I've done, I would say that that these racial IQ differences are at least partly genetic. But I wanted to talk about another
Race or
topic.
IQ is hereditary, but that's why it's
Yeah.
important. But there's also a way that the environment can improve IQ over time, which is why we need to focus on improving the environment, which leads to babies born in an environment which leads to them getting a slightly higher IQ than them having kids that have slightly higher IQ, and it goes up from there. That's why the gap is already closing.
Well, we'll see. I guess we'll see if it goes up to 100. I don't think it will, but yeah, I wanted to talk
My
about
friend, if anything,
Yeah.
you'll be lagging behind long before a lot of others, okay?
Okay, so do you know about residential schools, right?
Yeah.
I'm not okay. So you know the whole mass graves hoax, the whole thing that those mass back in
I don't really
2021.
have a very strong knowledge or opinion on this, so could you make your point quickly? Because I don't know if this is some territory that I think is worth me debating right now. This part of
Oh, well, do you want to just go back to talking about immigration? I guess.
we can just probably end the conversation. I don't think you're going to change your mind. It sounds like
No, I actually am willing to change my mind. Actually, you actually made me think about something about the whole to repeat a level of the male agent. I actually never heard a left wing person ever really have a comeback to that. Usually they just say that I'm racist or give some stupid answer, but you actually made me think actually. So
Well,
I
thanks. I'm
actually
glad to
am
hear that. I
open to
will send
this.
this to you as well. Um,
Thank you.
and then, yeah, the only other thing I'll say is if I can understand and I can empathize to where you're coming from as far as like wanting to protect a sense of cultural identity, I guess. But I don't think you do that by barring immigration because I think even if let's just say hypothetically that you barred immigration, okay, you had your cultural identity back. What about the cost of that? Like, how much is the country going to suffer? I'm sure you've heard of Japan, right? How they're very
Yeah.
isolationist. They have a strong cultural and national identity, and they're begging for immigrants. Their economy is struggling.
And this is what I'll talk about. So there's two types of kind of like right wing populists on this issue. There's ones that want to stop immigration and want to have total isolationism, so protectionism and all that. So that would be like Marine Le Pen, Sweden Democrats. And then there's people like me and those people who like the AFD in Germany, PPC, those people who want to stop immigration, but they want free trade. What I want is the second one. I want to stop immigration, but I want free trade. That's essentially, I don't want this protectionist stuff. I actually agree that's kind of stupid. Like, so I think
Are
that
you
as
just not
we,
understanding that when you have more people in a country purchasing and buying and then paying into the system, every time they purchase something, they're paying sales tax, right? So the more
yeah,
people purchasing, the more money that's in the economy, the better things are for everybody. So it sounds like I guess like I said, I can kind of get what you mean about the national identity thing, kind of, but at the same time, I think that the cost of that is ridiculous. I think that you would end up hurting people, even hurting the citizens of your country their cultural identity you're trying to protect. You'd end up hurting them because it would hurt the economy. It would devastate the economy, arguably. So
hmm,
I don't know. I would think
I
about
would,
it from that angle more if I were you.
yeah, so and do you want to talk about residential schools, or are you not like kind of knowledgeable
I'm not really
enough to talk about?
knowledgeable enough on that. I think that this has been a pretty productive
Yeah,
conversation though, and I also appreciate you coming on here making
yeah.
me. You made me think too, because I mean, I
Oh,
admit it.
really?
I'm not using sneaky tactics. Like I looked this up here on thing. You knew I was, so like because I had to look it up. I hadn't heard
Yeah,
that before. So
I saw it.
yeah,
Yeah, I actually saw it. I actually really liked having this conversation.
yeah. This ended
I
up
just
being more
want,
productive than I thought it was. It's kind of interesting. So I hope you will think
yeah,
about some of the stuff I said and come back and debate again if you want. If there's something
sure.
that comes up, changes your mind, let me know.
All right, got it. See ya. Bye
See ya.
bye.